Now loading Micah's Let's Play.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Micah Let's Play, and guess who I am? I'm Micah, because who else would I be? Guys, today I'm so excited. Today is going to be my mock audition for the Ready Player One Persona campaign happening on the Angel Arts YouTube channel. Now, for those of you who don't know who I am currently playing in a campaign right now called the Athenaeum campaign with this character, Star, spelled with 2 R's. So I'm really excited. I did this process last year and I was successful with your help getting me into the campaign by you guys voting and sharing your opinions and enjoying my audition. The auditions that I did will be in the video description down below, as well as the playlist to the Athenaeum campaign and the Ready Player One campaign that is open right now. I'm so excited. Check out the video. Give Angel Arts a subscribe. He's a wonderful content creator, and this experience has been one of the best experiences I've ever had. And I'm absolutely brand new to tabletop campaigning, but it is a new passion of mine that I really enjoy. Now, a lot of you might be saying, okay, well, what's the purpose of this mock audition? Well, as I said before, Angel Arts has opened his doors yet again to let people know that they can join him online playing in a wonderful tabletop campaign. And I love Ready Player One. I absolutely love the book, and I'm a huge fan of Persona. So putting these two things together is complete magic. So this mock audition is to help you, future auditioner, to know what you need to do. So I'm going to jump right into this audition, and then when I wrap it up, I'll also give you some more tips and tricks. Okay guys, now it's time for you to meet the main character for this mock audition, Jackson Broussard. Now before I jump into him properly, let me set up the world and his backstory. Jackson Broussard comes from the exact same Earth we come from, except for in his world, superhumans actually exist. Back in 1983, a comet flew by the Earth emitting this cosmic radiation. When it hit Earth's atmosphere and the pollution in our atmosphere, it created the perfect chemical cocktail to invent and to create superhumans. Now, superhumans were born during the late 80s, early 90s. Sadly, the government didn't know what to do with all these children with powers, so they decided to create the Superhuman Registration Act during the late 90s to try to find out who has powers and who doesn't. Also at the same time, there was this new technology being shared around called the Illuvian server, which people could wear these visors and play into a digital world, which was largely ignored because metahumans, let's just be honest. So time goes on. Okay guys, now it's time for you guys to meet Jackson's mother, Annette Broussard. Annette is just this beautiful and sexy and enchanting woman. Doesn't seem to matter what she does, she always seems to have success with everything she puts her hands on, almost like she had her own superpowers. But one night, Annette, being out on one of her adventures, meets this amazing man. We don't know who he is. They have this amazing night of passion that leads to Annette getting pregnant. Once Annette realized she was pregnant, she said, you know what? I'm going to buckle down and become the best mom I know I could be. The blessed day comes where she gives birth to Jackson, and sadly, this is where Annette's story ends. Because Annette died during childbirth, leaving Jackson in the hands of his only living relative, his grandfather, Stephen Broussard. And though Stephen Broussard loved his grandson, he wasn't the best caretaker. You see, Stephen is a hippie. I mean, a peace-loving, free-loving hippie. And he could never hold a job. He barely had anything saved. And sadly, sometimes Jackson and his grandfather found themselves in situations where they had to live with some of his grandfather's ex-boyfriends and girlfriends at the time, just so they can keep a roof over their head and food on the table. But during Jackson's adolescence, he discovered he had superpowers of his own. And his superpowers are superhuman spatial awareness, meaning he can see an object or a way to figure out how to squeeze through something and navigate, but on top of that, he had superhuman agility and superhuman balance. Essentially, he's like a cat. He always lands on his feet. During this time, Jackson also discovered he was quite good at sports. He was actually really good at playing football. Later on in Jackson's life, he discovers he has a few more abilities. Superhuman metabolism, which allows his body to burn fat more effectively and more efficiently than normal people, and by default, it allows him to have perfect skin, hair, teeth, and nails at all given points, so he never has a bad hair day. Lucky bastard. On top of that, he discovers he has something called pheromone manipulation. This is where his powers kind of backfire. You see, Jackson can manipulate his pheromones to release them into the air, making anyone who smells it find him utterly beguiling and attractive. And unlike Poison Ivy, he can't manipulate it where he can manipulate the person who inhales his pheromone. You see, once it's released, that's it. And anyone who smells it, and it affects anyone and anything who smells it, they are just wanting to touch, kiss, and even more, which can lead him to some very awkward, sometimes comical, but then also dangerous situations, because again, he can't really control it once he releases it. But the only other benefit is that if he's in an enclosed space and he releases his pheromone after maybe a heavy workout or being super nervous, it makes his pheromone so potent that it can actually incapacitate everyone in the room. So I guess there's a silver lining in all of this. Moving forward with the story, by the time Jackson was 19, he was going to UCLA, right here in good old California, where he was so good at football that scouts from the NFL were in the audience watching him play his game, and Jackson was flawless. The only problem is, there was a massive superhero, supervillain fight that led to a massive power surge and a huge explosion, killing hundreds of people and injuring Jackson in the process. And he was so badly injured, he lost his right arm. Once he realized he lost his arm and his future prospects to become an NFL football player, he grew extremely depressed, dropped out of school, and once again started living with his grandfather. Well, once again, his grandfather tried his best to motivate his grandson by saying, hey, why don't you just become a stripper and use your pheromones to get people to give you money? And for the 48th time, he had to explain to his grandfather, yo, Gramps, that's really not a good idea. After his grandfather let go of that horrible idea, his grandfather got another idea and calls up one of his old boyfriends named Chris. And he says, yo, Chris, how you doing? And Chris says, I'm fine. Steven, how are you? Well, are you still running that restaurant Yummy Something? Cause see, I got this grandson who's hotter than holy hell and needs a job. You think you can help him? Chris says, well, and after some negotiation that largely benefit Chris more than Jackson, Jackson now finds himself as a waiter at Yummy Boy. Exhibit A. Luckily, with Jackson's ability, he actually is very good at his job by getting around tables with his superhuman balance and agility, and he always gives everybody the perfect order. Jackson hates his job because he doesn't like when men slap him on the ass and give him leering expressions. But it's a job, so Jackson still felt depressed about his life with no future prospects and with his current disability. So, remember that Illuvian server? Well, by this stage of the game, it's popular, everybody's on it, because initially it started out as just a game where people would get on, play a few matches, raid some dungeons, and move on. But it expanded beyond that, where now it's not only just a gaming site, but it's also a social networking site and a dating sim, which is actually a lot of fun. So Jackson creates himself an avatar. As you can see here, River, and River's abilities is that he has magical hair where he can reach inside, pull out magical artifacts like a wand and a bow and arrow. Also, he can summon creatures and use his hair as a magical portal. When he was online, he actually caught the attention of the world's best player in the Illuvian, known as the Valkyrie. Now, the Valkyrie is super popular and famous for finding a magical and mystical armor that was only alluded to within the game. And the Valkyrie is literally the perfect man. Perfect skin, perfect hair, perfect eyes, smooth and sexy voice that makes anybody go gaga. So, with that being said, He catches the attention of Valkyrie, and they become great friends to the point they actually develop a real romantic relationship between one another. Only online, though. While this is taking place, they initially become this over-the-top super power couple online that everybody wants to be their friend. They're super popular. Everyone's vying for their attention. During this time, Jackson falls head over heels for the Valkyrie and says, "Yo, I really want to meet this guy who has my heart all aflutter." So one day he just tells him the truth. Jackson's like, "Yo, the Valkyrie, I want you to know, man, I'm totally into you, I'm in love with you, and I want us to meet in person." The Valkyrie takes Jackson into his arms, pulls him, and gets ready to give him a kiss that Jackson has been waiting for his entire life, although it's still online, so you can't really feel it. But then, instead of the smooth and sexy voice he's used to, this voice comes out and he says, "Listen, man, we're both in danger, Jackson. They're watching us. We gotta get out of here. Look, meet me under the bonsai tree where the moon never sets, and I'll explain everything then." And then he lets Jackson go, and then the Valkyrie disappears from the server. Jackson, devastated by this news and slightly alarmed by the voice he just heard, not the one he's used to. So what he does, he takes the lead and goes to the bonsai level, where he discovers a tree that sits in the middle of this level, now with the strange carving that's just the initials of JSS. Jackson, confused and not knowing what the meaning of this is, and also know the Valkyrie in sight, he says, "I have to find him." The moment he has this revelation to go look for this man, a huge announcement is made inside the Illuvian. There's a brand new competition called Rise of the Illuvian Tower. First place winner wins $600 million and the ability to build a new level within the Illuvian. Jackson says, "I'm going to enter this competition. I'm going to win that money, and I'm going to find the man I love." And that concludes our audition. As you can see, I created a character, a world, and a plot synopsis all in this mock audition. This is just to show you guys what you can do. There is no limits to your imagination. But remember what Hark says, your original idea and character concept may not be the same as your audition, but still, make a character that's lasting and gets everyone talking. So that's what you want to do for your audition. I hope everyone who watches this can cherry pick from my ideas and use them for yourself. Do know that all of the characters I created are my own original artwork and my own design, except for the backgrounds behind them. I just found those images on Google. But I really wish all of you the very best of luck, those of you who are choosing to audition. I cannot wait to celebrate you and watch your journey in the Ready Player One Persona campaign. And with all of that said, remember to live, think, and dream big, choose love over fear, and with all that said, I'm just gonna see y'all on the flip side. But until then, bye! See y'all later.